Some of you degenerate gamblers will bet on it, which is fine. But high school football is days away. You got the Pro Football Hall of Fame game, but more importantly, Drew Brees going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. And then week 0, I mean, we're getting there. We are getting there. So you get to see Bill Belichick's awesome team in Dublin, Ireland.
Yeah, they don't want to see him.
I don't even think North Carolina knows they're playing week 0. They don't. They're talking about the 2029 basketball class. That's how they roll. I told you I was in Louisville for 4 days. Nobody was talking Louisville football or Kentucky. Now, I heard some NFL conversations. Yeah. I heard horse conversations. Of course, everybody wants to talk bourbon. And I did get a little bit of an earful, not in a bad way, of Mark Pope and whether he's going to make it. So just to give you an idea of like here, all people are talking about at breakfast, lunch, and dinner and in their neighborhoods and when they're cooking out with their buddies and when they're hanging and having a cold beer or a cold Diet Coke, all they're talking about is football. Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Kiffin, DeBoer, somebody. Saints.
Yeah.
Can Tyler Shuck and Kellen Moore get a little magic going in a weak NFC South? Dak and the Cowboys, they finished 32nd on defense. Can they finish
really good job
21st? Can Mahomes come back? Now, there's a tie up there because of proximity when you kind of get up there in the Midwest.
Right.
Or trending. I asked a lot of them, are y'all South? Are y'all Southern? Are y'all...
What did they say?
Well, they were all over the place, but we came to the conclusion that they are Southern.
Whoa. Louisville?
Yeah. But will Mahomes is he going to come back from injury? Of course he is. But, is it just going to be awesome out of the gate? He's really had 3 very meh years. I mean, last year was a struggle. The year before, the last game we remember was the Super Bowl in which they were embarrassed. The last Super Bowl they won before that was totally driven by Spagnuolo and the Kansas City Chiefs defense. I mean, it's been a while since he's had like a Herculean elite season, 4 years, since he's had just oh my God, this is crazy. Now he's had some plays like he does every year that are insane when he starts to get, moving around and doing his thing. Or as this guy says,
off the waggle.
Mahomes is he may be the best, even over Lamar and Josh.
Off the waggle.
When he's healthy, right? Because when he gets off the waggle, then protection,
breaks down.
Well, coverage breaks down. Yeah. The coverage is already broken down when he's flushed out. Well, most of the time. But protection breaks down, and then he hits Kelsey down the seam for 25 yards, and then Kelsey runs another 20. My point is Mahomes coming off ACL and whatever other ligament that he tore and so on. So,
yeah, you're talking about.
And then is it time for, we had a snoozer Super Bowl, Seahawks Patriots. What are we looking at this year with the Rams and the Bills? The Bills have Joe Brady, who went through LSU when they won the national title with Joe Burrow.
That's right.
So now Joe Brady is coaching Josh Allen in the same conference where
he may see him. Look, the Bengals aren't bad.
Where Joe Burrow plays with the Bengals.
Bengals aren't bad. They were in the AFC Championship a couple years back.
Holy smokes.
Joe Brady, what is he, like 33?
Well, I know it feels like it, doesn't it? It feels like he was 25 at LSU. He's probably...
How old do you really think he is? Oh, no.
I would think he's 37 or 38.
36.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
He'll turn 37.
Golly, so when I was at that national championship game, LSU-Clemson, because Trump was there, which made it anytime a president's there, getting in and out's a booger, and I was a little late. And Jeff Jones, Jonesy Q, and Wickers, I think, was a little upset with me. He's the one that had the sweet tickets. And by the time we finally, got in, it was all good. But it was a little bit of a bottleneck to get in the national championship game in the Superdome when Trump's there. And I left a little late from the Maroney in the Uber, and I had to book it because I didn't want Jonesy Q to be upset with me.
He would have been 29 at that point.
29 years old as the offensive coordinator with Joe Burrow in the most prolific
yes.
offense in the history of college football.
Period, yes.
With 2 first-round NFL picks who may end up in the Hall of Fame at wide receiver.
Oh, yeah, wide receiver alone, yes. Yeah.
Yeah. In Chase and Jefferson.
Right.
Okay. All right. And we just thought Odell and Landry were good.
Right.
And then Chase and Jefferson said, hold my Elijah Craig, watch what we'll do. You know? We thought Mettenberger, Odell, and Jarvis were good. Now, Les Miles screwed that up.
Yeah.
But that was a factor too, okay?
Yeah.
Because I can't believe it, but Eddie O got out of the way.
Got out.
And Joe Brady channeled his
I don't even know.
Inner Sean Payton.
Yeah, that's good.
And whatever else he had picked up and his little boy genius that he got, labeled, which is fine. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah.
And they were unbelievable. I can't believe that was that long ago. It feels like, because I was there right before COVID.
That's right.
Let's just say they played January 8th. I don't know.
January 6th
of 2020 because they won the 2019 national championship. Okay.
Yeah.
And, it was already here, and it's crazy that that was 7-8 years ago.
Yeah. Around about.
And now Joe Brady is the head football coach for the Buffalo Bills, coaching Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow is on the AFC side. Wow.
And he's actually worked his way up.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He did come in as an OC, which is really awesome and really cool.
But he's been in the NFL for a while.
Since 2020.
Okay.
6 years now.
6 years. That's a good run of at least learning. I'm still surprised they fired Sean McDermott because he was like 83 and 35. But,
ruled.
Whatever.
Hey.
Yeah.
They ain't going through that old spell again. They don't want to keep getting there. They know that all too well.
This is Mac is on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line, and he's a part of the OOB Nation roll call. And he goes, Bo, I'm still on the app in our little beach town. I just moved a little further down the beach. We're in Seagrove, right behind Cafe 38. He said, I'm ready for all these jaded tourists to take their golf carts and go home. But I think you've only got about 5 to 6 more days. Most everybody's in school or getting ready or moving into dorms and moving into apartments, and parents are turning the page on the summer. And I think you've made it. You may have one more week. We are the Out of Bounds Show. We're brought to you by the 12-ounce filet, medium rare, side of crab meat, Elijah Craig, Manhattan, KesslerPrime.com to make a reservation. Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Insider at 8:30.
Man, he's got a set of mitts on him.
Woo-hoo! Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Res Dog is not happy with me. We are the Out of Bounds Show. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. I was wrong on Blake Shapen being from Texas. He played at Baylor in Texas. Res Dog says, Bo, you know nothing. Blake Shapen is from Louisiana. You're right. He actually, I don't know how many times I talked about how he was offered or heavily recruited by LSU in baseball. So, thank you, Res Dog, for keeping us in check. Hey, I want to let everybody know that if you're watching the show on YouTube right now, the YouTube channel for us is Out of Bounds Sports. We're live right now. You can see the set. We've got the Tito's helmet, but we also have a Peter Millar Out of Bounds Whiskey 61 piece that we're showcasing from the Rogue Men's Store. Luke and the Rogue did like 8 pieces. We're going to get more, but really cool. They did the microphone. We do a microphone as our Out of Bounds logo. And then they did the Whiskey 61 logo on the sleeve. All these super cool Peter Millar pullovers or hoodies. They're all thin and, you can wear them whenever. Like I said, we like to keep the studio on about 64. And shout out to Luke. So yesterday I finally got by the Rogue Men's Store. We've been gone a lot. He is loaded up with powder blue and red and white Ole Miss gear, the SIP and written out Ole Miss script, and he's loaded up with Mississippi State maroon shirts, white shirts, gray. He's got the interlocking MSU, the walking bully, and the state script, all of them. So he has one section of his store at the Rogue Men's Store is really good-looking golf shirts and polo shirts, Ole Miss and Mississippi State Peter Millar, which is high quality, good-looking, and you can wear it for several years. And you can wash it because they do good stuff. So if you want the Peter Millar collegiate line, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, it's powered by the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson, and now they've got a whole wall of stuff. You can follow them on Instagram, Rogue JXN. Follow them on Facebook. They'll be posting stuff, I'm sure, throughout the week. This pullover that I'm wearing, I love it. Peter Millar, looks great. Thank you, Luke, for doing Out of Bounds / Whiskey 61 Peter Millar gear so that we can wear it throughout football season. You want your first or second, you may want to go ahead and grab 2 Ole Miss or Mississippi State pieces for the year. You've got it at the Rogue Men's Store in Jackson. All right. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Jake Thompson will join us in 10 minutes on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. We're looking forward to that. We'll get caught up on Ole Miss football and their big first game. It's not their big first game is not LSU. It's Louisville. You have to be ready to play that game. I don't think you're good enough to have your B game and go up there and win in Nashville. You don't have to have your A+ game because you have more talent, but you're going to have to be at least B+, but A- type level or space. Yeah. Because again, you're better, but Brom can coach and he'll have some wrinkles for you too. So yes, with Trinidad and that defensive line, that should be enough, but that's your big first game. And we know Mississippi State's is at Minnesota. And then we know that the game of the regular season, and the Egg Bowl is always big, even with Mississippi State deciding not to play real football for a while. But it is LSU at Ole Miss. So that's the layout. I'm excited. It's a couple of things, though. Ole Miss and Mississippi State, 3 of your first 4 games are tough. Yeah. I mean, Ole Miss has Louisville, neutral field, LSU at home, at Florida as 3 of their first 4. Nothing's guaranteed there. Mississippi State, on the other hand, 3 of their first 4 at Minnesota, at South Carolina, Missouri at home. You're going to have to be ready early. this year there's no playing 2 or 3 non-cons in a row. Although Mississippi State does, it's a P4 at Minnesota in game 2. Louisville has no experience at quarterback. Minnesota does have experience at quarterback with their 6'5", 230-pound guy. He's more of a pocket guy compared to Camario. My theory there, it's still early in his career. He's going to have to run for you to win, which is totally fine in Minneapolis. That doesn't mean that he can't complete some passes. Love how people are like, well, that means you're not even going to throw the ball? The extremist of college football fans. But I think you have to run to win in Minneapolis. Camario and Fluff will be the deal, and we'll see if Levy and Philip Montgomery totally commit to running the football early to try to get that win or two to where Levy can manage the schedule and stay around.
In every right, that's a swing game.
Big time.
I mean, for his
because it's a 50-50 deal.
It's a career swing game.
You're no doubt. You're more Mississippi State's more talented. Minnesota has a much better head coach. PJ's been there a long time, and he's won.
In all reality, you lose that ball game. I don't think you make it out of Starkville. But then where do you go? That's a career swing game for him. He needs to.
You can still find a path because you've got delicious home games against Vanderbilt in Missouri and Auburn.
A tough path.
It is.
Real tough path.
It is. And now the debate in the fan base, which makes me cringe, is it 6 wins or 7 wins to keep, or on whether you retain Levy or make a move.
Just going backwards now?
Well, there seems to be chatter that 6 is going to – at first it was 7.
Yeah.
Steve Robertson came on like 4 or 5 months ago.
Yes.
I teed him up.
Yeah.
I said, what's the number? He said 7.
Adamantly.
Now I'm hearing 6. Lowering your expectations to me is the big problem in the first place.
Yeah.
If you're okay with that, you really don't want to win.
Wow.
That's my theory. And this fan base is going to, and administration is going to have to decide if they want to win. So
ain't nobody high-fiving over 6-6.
Shouldn't be. I do think it sends a message, we're okay with mediocrity.
That's exactly what it says.
Yeah. But that's what I'm picking that up on that. And I think that is,
weak.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, it's so weak.
But let's let it play out.
Yeah.
Hey, this is going to be fun. It's going to be a roller coaster ride. It is every year. Your team is whoever your team is, I don't care who it is in the league, is going to get hit in the mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Your team is going to face adversity, and most of the teams are going to have some highs. There'll be 1 or 2 that are the exception.
Right.
Okay, but you know what's crazy? Just about anybody can beat anybody in the league with this watered-down, fractured, and splintered deal we call college football today. All right? Will Stein's going 9-3 at Kentucky. You know it, and I know it. I know you feel it. God, nobody cares about Kentucky football. Good Lord have mercy. Who do they play? Are they even on here?
Jared Lorenzen's still playing.
Yeah. Youngstown State, who may beat them. They've been known to play some football. Then they get Alabama, so they'll get smoked. And then at A&M. Good Lord. All right, Jake Thompson, Ole Miss football next. Oh, man.
Off the whackle.
Trinidad Chambliss.
Off the whackle.
Trinidad Chambliss.
Off the whackle.
I don't think anybody plays off the waggle better in college football at the quarterback position than Trinidad Chambliss.
Off the whackle.
Yeah.
Yeah, you damn right.
We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We welcome in our friend Jake Thompson, Ole Miss insider, and he joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Jake, are you already at the practice field this morning?
No, we fire it up tomorrow, so we got one more day, and then it gets going.
Okay. All right. So tell me what is your current state of mind? Are you fired up? Are you excited? Are there butterflies, anticipation? Where are we?
I think I would be more anticipated and fired up if it was game day tomorrow, not first day of practice, because it's going to be very similar to spring, which I was kind of expecting in terms of access and what we're going to be able to see. At least the first half of camp it's going to be very similar, which, Pete Golding's from the school of Saban, so it shouldn't surprise many people. So we'll see if we get to see more than punts, which is what we saw basically in the spring. But, I can't fault them for it. I get it. Everybody kind of does their own thing. So,
sure.
Yeah, no, if it was Louisville and Nashville tomorrow where I could see 60 full minutes of this team, I'd probably be a little more excited. But it's going to be good. We go around sometime mid-morning Thursday, and then that afternoon we do the big local media day with Pete and talk to all the players. So that part will be good, just to talk to somebody outside of, Trinidad and Kiwanis Will, which is about all I've kind of talked to this summer. So on that side of it, it'll be nice to see what those guys say about the season.
Yeah. Don't you love that once you get Pete Golding going, that it's just pure content for all y'all and for us?
Yeah, I guess the one thing I think he'll have to keep in mind is, and this isn't a knock, it's more of a unsolicited advice. If somebody has his ears listening, you could tell in media days, he tried to answer one question, the tampering question, and dodged it. And then the next person that asked it kind of learned or figured out how he might get asked. It was not specifically about Clemson, but said, hey, how would you fix this? Or that was the gist of it. I can't remember it verbatim. And then that's what fired him up. So I think people are going to realize if you can poke the bear enough, you're going to get him going.
Right.
And that's where, I don't want to see media training because you don't need to muzzle him because he is great. I mean, Summerall and him back to back, that was probably the best 3 hours of the entire week. I mean, it was kind of a blah media days until those two took the podium. So no, you don't want to change him, but you can't show your cards because some of the media guys will then start pushing those buttons.
Yeah, I mean he's a great talker and conversationalist, which is good for you and I. And he enjoys it. He enjoys visiting and engaging and so on. He's natural at it.
He'll talk ball for 25 minutes if you just say defense, which is what I watched in Cleveland last month during the Rubber Road trip. Somebody asked him about defense. I think he talks about every single player on defense. So you got a coach that loves ball.
Yeah. Okay. So Jake Thompson, Ole Miss insider. Ole Miss opens up with Louisville in Nashville against Jeff Brom, who is a damn good football coach, but they don't have any experience at the quarterback position. And our friend Jake Thompson just mentioned Will Eccles. And that defense looks serious with Eccles and Perkins and so on. So how would you, and we don't know yet, but last year they were good. And you've had some really good ones over the years. Good Lord, 14 and 15, among other years. How good, considering some of the defensive lines that you've had, can this 2026 defensive line be with this group?
I don't know if it'll be as good as, I guess, 2 years ago now, whatever the year was, with Ivy and Big E's and, others, Prince Lee, Umanmiel, and all those guys that ended up getting drafted or at least a shot at an NFL camp. I can't say it'll be as good as that just because outside of Eccles and Cam Franklin, none of us will have seen what these guys can do together. And, Blake Purchase and some other additions that they brought in at defensive end. And, I mean, on paper, you would think it's supposed to be a really good defensive front, but we got to see them all play together. And, there's a lot of new faces, a lot of new pieces. And that's why I think a lot of people we kind of talked to in Tampa, just other, media people or national people, was that nobody's talking about this Ole Miss defense enough, and maybe it's under the radar. I think it's more so that for us, locally who cover them, it's always kind of a wait and see. We got to watch them play. How do they mold? Because offense, you can kind of get a feel for how they're going to be, because you just kind of see that more. But defense, Eccles is the guy, but I think it's going to take a little bit of the Louisville game, and then I think a lot of the Charlotte game, because that should be, you would think if you're Ole Miss, chum in the water, just get some reps, get some more experience before the next week, for us to learn how good this defense can be, and then they'll have to put that to the test. LSU at Florida, it doesn't get any easier from there. So I think it can be good, but we're going to have to see kind of the proof of concept first.
Do you think Eccles can be a first-round pick at some point?
Yeah, I think he can play his way there, because, when everybody does those way too early next year drafts, immediately after the current year's draft, for the ones that I could find, Eccles was the first Ole Miss guy going off any kind of draft board or mock draft, so I think he can be a first-round guy, but I think he's going to have to play his way through that this season.
Okay. All right, Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Insider, on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the delicious Key City beer out of Vicksburg. Pick some up today. You will love it. Key City, Mississippi Queen, Mr. Sippy, Mi Vida. Jake Thompson on the Out of Bounds Show. Back to SEC Media Days. What was your one big takeaway from Golding and what he did say or didn't say, Jake?
I think the biggest takeaway is he was ready to get back on the practice field. I think he's done a lot. He was in the midst of wrapping up that road trip, which obviously he's going to love meeting the fans. But I think he's a coach. We just said he's a good talker and can say the right things, and he's fun to talk to. But he's not really the most. He didn't enjoy doing that. I think he's ready to get back on the field and be a ball coach. And I think he's also ready to kind of prove that those 3 games weren't a fluke. If there was any overarching theme to the entire week with first-year coaches, there was a lot of questions in the main room. It almost felt like a job interview all over again. A lot of guys were asking, why you? Why did you get it? Why should you be the guy? We saw Will Stein throw out I think this team's better because I'm here. That kind of comment, that quote. So that was the overarching theme of basically sitting there watching these first-year coaches or coaches at a new spot, even though they've coached somewhere else. Why you? Why you? And then, Pete got some of that. And then obviously he kind of took over when he got going there, and it kind of deflected from that. But that's the biggest thing, is I think a lot of these first-year coaches were kind of being put under the microscope again.
Okay. Jake Thompson on the Out of Bounds Show. Ole Miss kicks it off against Louisville in Nashville. Week 1, baby. Then they take a week off against Charlotte, and then we all know LSU at Ole Miss. So looking at the Vegas odds, Jake, Ole Miss plus 1,100 to win the SEC and plus 3,000 for the Natty. I mean, depending on what book you're looking at, right? But so that's respected, but it's clearly behind several teams in the SEC, like Georgia, Texas, A&M, Bama, and LSU. That's kind of the pecking order. Do you think that people are sleeping on this Ole Miss football team?
Yeah, I mean, I think also it just got historical kind of evidence to go by. I don't agree with how Roman Harper said it on TV that day, I think at SC Media Days to start the week, where he was, picking on the new guy, Chase Daniels, and said, it's Ole Miss, he'll learn. They're not going to win a national title. I'm not going that far. I think that was poorly said for, insert any team into that sentence. But yeah, I think Ole Miss has to prove it. They've got the guys on offense, but I think everybody knows defense is what wins you that title or gets you in the running. And, it's hard. Logo bias is a thing. It just is, especially in college football and in Vegas. Some of these guys don't watch a lick of any of these teams all the time or even read stuff, but they do know what an Ohio State team always usually does, what a Notre Dame team does, Texas, Georgia, Alabama. So I think that's part of it. But, also these Vegas guys, there's a reason the lights stay on all the time, and they know to put some teams with odds that are going to rile up some people and go, well, I'm going to make a killing off of this and put some bet down, bettor's bait. So it's probably a little bit of all that in there. But, if Ole Miss can get through week 3 and be 3-0, heading to Florida, I think you're going to see at least the SEC odds shift in their favor. It'll probably take a little bit more than that for the the national title odds to shift. But I think they just have to pile up some W's and that money will shift their way.
And do you believe that with all the shakeup, and yes, Pete did a good job in the playoffs, but a lot of that was driven by what Lane had built, as you know, for 6 years. Do you believe 10-2 is what it's going to take to get in, Jake, until we go to 20, whatever, until we go to 16, 20, or 24? 9-3 is not going to get it. So when you look at, it's somewhat manageable, but you mentioned LSU at home. That's going to be tough. At Florida, tough. At Texas, tough. Georgia at home, and at Oklahoma, tough. And then I'm kind of glossing over some SEC teams that, you don't ever know, could give anyone some fits. Do you believe this is a roster and a team that can go 10-2 with a 9-game conference schedule and Louisville on a neutral field?
I mean, I think they can, but I'm kind of a one that's leaning that I think a 9-3 team could get in, but with the caveat, it depends on who the 9 are and who the 3 are. Because, I think that's going to weigh into, especially with Sankey basically saying to us in Tampa that he talked with college football player people, I guess, at Destin in the spring meetings, and he was given the word he used, unsatisfactory answer, which basically means the committee didn't tell him, oh, hey, we're going to weigh that 9-game schedule heavier than everybody else. But no, I think a 9-3 team might, but it also depends on, like I said, who those 9 are and who those 3 are. I mean, it could be good losses, good wins. But no, in terms of Ole Miss, on paper, I think they have a 10-2 team, but they've got, obviously, like everybody else, they got to go play the games and show it. Pete Golding's first toughest coaching task, I think, is that week between LSU and Florida. Win or lose, LSU, his job is to get that team back to level as fast as possible before going to a very motivated John Summerall, who could not stop saying over and over that he was beaten by Ole Miss twice last year by 2 different coaches.
Yeah,
with his Tulane team. And he's a competitor like every other coach. He's going to be motivated, and we have also seen how Ole Miss does heading into a big game at Gainesville in recent history. It's been a challenge, especially with a lot on the line. So that's Pete's first toughest job. If Ole Miss beats LSU, you've got to get them back down. Yeah. Make sure they're not coming off of partying like an all-nighter in Vegas. If they lose, you've got to get them back up to level and make them realize there's still 8 more games. Anything we have plenty of time to get back on track. That's the beauty of LSU being the first of these 9 SEC games. If you lose, you've got what you used to have, your normal 8-game SEC schedule to get back on track.
Yeah, that was well done. Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Insider, Ole Miss Spirit on 3 on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And by the way, for our listeners, because you're busy, and Jake and I are somewhat locked into this, what Jake was referencing was Sankey at Commissioner Sankey at SEC Media Days said that they had a conference call with the College Football Playoff Committee. And his quote, I'm kind of paraphrasing, was, "It was not a productive conversation." Okay. Now, when and I think this is where Jake's going too, when this thing is expanded, it won't matter. To more, but right now, I think it's going to clip the league this year because we stayed at 12 but bumped it up to 9 games. And so that's what Jake and I are debating. Can 9-3 get you in? Probably not, but as Jake said, maybe. It's really going to come down to going 10-2 and 11-1. And with Notre Dame probably making the playoffs, that's taking a spot that they didn't take last year. Does that make sense? With their easy schedule.
No,
And Penn State, y'all watch out. I mean, I don't think Matt Campbell's better than James Franklin. I think it's kind of a push, maybe a slight edge to James Franklin. But y'all, that Penn State schedule is absurd how easy it is. So I think that's something to keep an eye on as we're thinking how many spots are there depending on where Ole Miss finishes. Texas, Georgia, LSU, Bama, teams that we believe have a chance to make the college football playoff. Is that fair, Jake?
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, I think it'll be 10-2, especially once we get to, middle of October and half the season done and see who's what and where and who's won, who hasn't, and what conferences are trending and not. But yeah, that's why I just think on the outside, I'm just playing that, devil's advocate of a 9-3 could, but I think you've got to have the right 9 and the right 3 because there's going to be plenty of 10-2s across the country, and especially in the Big Ten. Because, Indiana's also got a cupcake of a schedule. After Signetti said we don't really run from anybody, and they,
right.
I know he doesn't sit there and make the schedule, but he does. That's his schedule this year. And Notre Dame, everybody jokes about Notre Dame's schedule. It is what it is. There's probably a reason they decided to get back to the table and say Southern Cal, let's play again in 3 years, to add another one to their schedule. But that doesn't matter for this year. And Penn State, they've got some, but they avoid a lot of the big boogeymen of the Big Ten. They've got some tough ones, but, a lot of it's, going to come down to just is Penn State a little bit better than last year. And if that's the case, then, they'll get in when you least expect them to. So, Ole Miss, I think that best case scenario or worst case scenario for Ole Miss, they've got to start 5-1 heading to Texas. I think they've got to. I can give them a 1 somewhere. LSU, Florida, just because that's a tough 2 weeks for anybody. So if they're 5-1 heading to Texas, I think they're in a good spot. If they're worse than that, it's going to be a tough back end of the season. I think with who they have after that.
No, that's fair enough. Jake Thompson, Ole Miss Spirit, Ole Miss Insider. Everything gets kicked off tomorrow, and we're all ready. And just in a few weeks, they'll be in Nashville playing the Louisville Cardinal and Jeff Brom. And again, Louisville has no experience at quarterback. They grabbed a guy from West Georgia and a guy from Ohio State. And evidently, the guy from West Georgia played better than the guy from Ohio State in the spring game. I don't know what to make of that. I roll most of that, but we'll see. Jake Thompson on ESPN 105.9 The Zone, driven by your next GMC Sierra truck at Fowler GMC, Pearl, Brandon. Yeah, that Penn State schedule, that Notre Dame schedule, and that Indiana schedule, good Lord. Cupcakes for days, baby. All right, D-line. I want to go back to the D-line and Eccles. No, the defense as a whole, Jake Thompson. We did this a little bit last time you were on, but I'd like to get, and I know Eccles and Perkins, but I want you to rank them too. I want you to give me your top 4 or 5 defensive players for Pete Golding going into 2026.
5, I'll go 5-1. I'll say 5. I'm going to go Antonio Kite in the secondary. Just because he had a great year last year with all the uncertainty coming in after how he left Auburn and played better as the year got on. I think he will be a key guy. 4, I'm going to say it's Keaton, the linebacker from Keaton Thomas from Baylor. I think he's going to be your green dot guy. Linebacker's an entirely new makeover out. Take Perkins out of it because he's such a hybrid. You can put him in either room. But traditional linebacker, Keaton Thomas, I think is going to be a key guy. I could go 4B there with Luke Ferrelli, the Cal transfer, who's obviously everybody knows his name for different reasons. But I think he's only played 1 year at Cal. But I think, Pete Golding knows how to coach linebackers, and he's got 2 new guys to help coach that room since he's got a lot more going on. But I think Keaton kind of 4A, 4B there. Then 3, I'm going to say Cam Franklin. I think the Lake Corman guy takes a step up. And then 2, because I'm going to be unique with 1, but 2, I'm going to say Blake Purchase, the Oregon defensive end. I think he's going to be a key guy on the other end with Cam Franklin. That's a newcomer that's coming in that I think can thrive well with, we've seen how good Randall Joyner develops guys on the defensive line and gets them NFL ready, or at least have a shot to play at the NFL. So I think that's going to be a guy to watch. And then 1 is just kind of your 2 MVPs, I think, of the entire defense, or will need to be, in Eccles and Perkins. I know I kind of cheated there, but, that's how I view the defense right now.
No, that was good. That's what we needed. All right. So we've got transfers from Baylor, Oregon, and Cal/Clemson that are on the list with Jake Thompson. And then we've got some returning guys that played really well for Ole Miss last year. And I think that's the big question, like how the defense is going to be good. Will they be unbelievable? I think that's the question in Oxford.
And I think for Ole Miss, they don't have to be unbelievable, just a touch better, because look how far they got last year. with the defense that I think it was not as good as what's on paper this year in certain areas. I think they got better at linebacker as a whole with depth, and I think they got better in the secondary with some guys that come in, but we just haven't gotten to see them much, so it's hard to say it. But, I think if they're just slightly better than last year, and obviously the offense can do what it's expected to do with 2 preseason Heisman contenders, that they've got a chance to get to that 10-2 and make another run and see if, somehow they're one of the 2 in Vegas.
All right, cool. We'll wrap it up with food and beverage. Have you been to the SIP restaurant up there?
I have not. My brother, who used to live here, went there frequently, and he enjoyed it. I have never made it there. I've got to expand my rotation of restaurants. It's kind of a sad, habitual rotation that I've just got myself into over the decade plus I've lived here.
No, that's cool. I've been. It's a fantastic place. Have you been to Miscellaneous?
I've not.
All right, we got to get Jake Thompson. My guys, Dole Bryan and Patrick Kelly, have to get Jake to the SIP and to Miscellaneous for the right mojo for Ole Miss this year. All right, tell me your I don't know, 3 restaurant rotation, Jake Thompson.
My rotation is Ajax on the Square. If you're just needing some good home cooking, that's Golden Corral type stuff. Your good Southern cooking. Ajax has got that in all different ways. If you're feeling like a good burrito, good taco, I go to South Depot on the Square. And let's see, a third one. I'm trying to think, 'cause there's ones that are worthy, but I'm going to go, I've not tried it yet. I'm planning to try it today or tomorrow, but I'm going to just throw in a new one and I'm probably butchering the name, Aplos.
Oh, Aplos. Yeah, they started here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oxford got one up. I think it opened sometime last month. And so everybody seems to love it. So I'm going to throw that one out there.
Oh, yeah, you'll love the gyros and everything else that they're doing because they started here in Jackson. All right, Jake Thompson, you're going to have a busy year, busy August, and you'll be hanging out with us a good bit. We appreciate you, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, man. Ole Miss Spirit on 3, Jake Thompson, talking Ole Miss football. This is now Pete Golding's team. With Trinidad Chambliss and Will Eccles leading the way, among others. And can Ole Miss go 10-2 with this schedule? At Florida, at Texas, and at Oklahoma. And with some tough home games, I think LSU at home and Georgia at home. Yeah, will be challenging. I mean, there's some other games that could be challenging. I was just running through the schedule. That defense could be filthy. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show is brought to you by the Wings and Fried Oyster Po' Boy at Martin's in Livingston. Their new expansion is amazing, and it's going to be unbelievable for game day, college football and the NFL.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Al Warner.
Live in the studio. It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9. All set? Let's go. The Zone.
Off the whackle.
Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Good morning. Welcome into you. Show is brought to you by Taste Italian Kitchen in Ridgeland, in the Renaissance, and in Starkville, Mississippi. TasteItalianKitchen.com to make a reservation. From the wood-fired pizzas to the bolognese. All right, from the shrimp scampi to the fried ravioli. Taste Italian Kitchen. Ridgeland, Starkville. TasteItalianKitchen.com. And pair any of that with a Tito's Espresso Martini. Or if you're there on a Saturday, late Saturday morning, a Tito's Bloody Mary. Fabulous restaurant. Taste, Ridgeland. They're open for lunch and dinner and Starkville. So Jackson and I will have to get there again. It's been a minute. Huh? Good.
Yeah, my sister's coming into town. We're going in like a couple weeks.
Good.
We're going to take my great aunt.
Oh, the one that's in the mob? Yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to
get some Italian food. You got to get the meat lovers, wood-fired pizza from Taste Italian Kitchen, and a good Tito's Espresso Martini, and then you'll be there with family, and then you can add all kinds of pastas and calamari and fried ravioli and fun stuff.
I wouldn't take her, and no disrespect to the other places around, but I don't take her out to Italian. She wouldn't like that,
right?
But she would like Taste.
Absolutely,
I know she will. So we're confident.
Oh, the world famous meatball is you can get it it's on the app. It's under appetizers, but it could be either way. But the world famous meatball. When you get a Caesar salad and you get the Caesar on the side, when they drop the Caesar, you can take the croutons and put it in the sauce around the world-famous meatball, which they make in-house, homemade, and it's delicious. Now, they've got a smoked tomato bisque that's ridiculous, and you can also get your Caesar on the side, croutons come out, drop them in the smoked tomato bisque.
Dang.
I'm giving you all the secrets. I don't know what else to do. Pair it with the Tito's Espresso Martini. You're popping.
Easy.
Okay. It's a beautiful bar. They're about to open their outside area, which there will be nothing like it in the state of Mississippi. And we have some beautiful places, great spots. They're basically building another restaurant outside of Taste, right beside it, temperature controlled. I walked through it the other day. It's incredible. When they open that bad boy, it doesn't matter if it's 105 degrees out or 15 degrees. You can hang out in there, have your beverage of choice, and some amazing food at Taste Italian Kitchen in Ridgeland. But you can see it. I mean, it's like a whole nother structure right in between Taste and the jewelry store. It's going to be great. It's going to be great to watch games. It's going to be great to go on a date. It's going to be great to meet friends. When they open it up, it's going to be awesome. And you can do what Jackson's doing, inviting his family there to enjoy wood-fired pizzas at Taste and fried ravioli and some shrimp scampi.
Yeah.
God, I'm hungry.
I mean, risotto.
Huh?
What is it, lobster risotto?
Yeah, lobster risotto.
That's the best thing ever.
Yeah. It's fantastic.
Love it.
I'm a big risotto fan.
Yeah, me too.
We have a listener here that's ranking the Oxford area restaurants on the Dancing Rabbit Golf text line. All right, so we've got
Exxon.
No, that's not on there. He's got Every Day, Volta, Proud Larry's.
Okay.
I've been there. Handy Andy's. I've been there. Upscale. Boo-Ray. I've been there. The Velvet Ditch. I've been there, but only for a drink.
Yeah.
And St. Leo, and I've been there. So Miscellaneous did not make it. The SIP didn't make it. You know, of course, City Grocery. I mean, Current started this whole thing.
Yeah.
And so on. So, all right. But yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own thing, and that's great. I love to hear your food recommendations as you travel. And let's go. So
That's why you travel,
that's right.
to eat.
Oh man, we had some fun, good food in Louisville, Kentucky, and we were able to break bread with good people and fun people, and it was great. I wish I could remember where we went. We went to Chicken Cock Distillery, but then we went across the street to eat a late lunch, and it was really good. I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to text the crew that I was with. Fantastic, though. I mean, we had it was like a shared plates deal.
Nice.
Really what we did the whole time. I mean, we just ordered a bunch of stuff. It hit the table. People grabbed a little bit of it and passed the plate around, which is my kind of deal. Blake would have thrown a fit. I love Blake.
Oh, he likes to order.
But Blake so if y'all remember several years ago, he got really feisty with me. That'd be Blake Scott, not Blake Shapen. And Blake Shapen's from Louisiana, even though he played at Baylor.
That's right.
And then at Mississippi State. I said that he was from Texas earlier. But Blake Scott, former producer, he's in the Hall of Fame of the Out of Bounds show. Blake Scott got upset with me because I talked about how much fun it is to get like a tomahawk at a restaurant, and just a lot of times the kitchen will slice it up. So you say, hey, I want a medium rare tomahawk, and I want you to drop it in the middle, slice it, and people can just grab. And I mean, he was defiant.
I bet.
I have to have my own steak.
I feel it.
I'm like, dude,
I get that.
do you know how many unbelievable meals I've had where we were like, all right, let's order the ribeye, the strip, and the filet, have them slice them up, and you can just, grab. That's fun.
Yeah. His reluctancy there is going to be rooted in something, though. Like, he went to eat prior.
Something happened.
Something happened.
He didn't think he got enough
He didn't get
on the shareable
Did not.
kind of, let's say you put it on almost like a wood charcuterie
That's right.
board, but you've got your sliced up ribeye, your sliced up, maybe you got a porterhouse, whatever. But let's say you got a little bit of ribeye, a little bit of strip, a little bit of filet. Flank steak, I don't care, whatever's happening,
Right.
combination. Maybe rack of lamb. Something happened and he didn't feel like he got enough.
He got cheated.
Yeah.
Slighted. Whatever
Yeah.
you want to go with.
Yeah.
Something happened.
So,
I guarantee it.
okay.
Well, it may have been
I mean,
a high
he
school
was
thing. I don't know.
huffing and puffing over there when I said, no, it is fun to be at a table and you order I mean, you can order more stuff, but
Yeah.
you start with last year Taste for the Texas game did a tomahawk special. I was with the Bocock Brothers Premium Cigars, which they just posted all these pictures of the Dak Prescott cigar that they do. If you want to order one, bocockbrothers.com, and you promo code BOUNCE10. They flew in from Houston for the Texas game. We started off with the tomahawk steak sliced up at Taste, and it was fantastic. But we ordered other things.
Right.
People were ordering shrimp scampi and blah, 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 and whatever. That dude got red and
Dude, I
upset
can
with.
see
I mean, he was over there stewing.
He don't want anybody reaching into his plate.
I think is that a Mississippi guy thing? I don't know.
We ain't sharing plates.
I think shared plates is one of the most fun things to do.
But you can't have a happy
Jesus
plate.
and the disciples believed in it.
Yeah.
It's why I think I've loved it since dining in New Orleans in 1980, 81, and 82 as a kid.
Because of Jesus and the disciples.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, we are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
I don't want to hear all that chit chat stuff.
Out of bounds, ESPN 1059 The Zone. Out of bounds. Brought to you by Dancing Rabbit Golf Club and also our friends at Total Transportation of Mississippi. All right, so how many jobs actually pay you to see America? Total Transportation of Mississippi does. Solo or team routes, totalms.com. Nationwide or regional, totalms.com. You choose your path. Let them be your travel agent. Apply today, totalms.com. Weekly pay, paid vacation, real home time. Powered by Total Transportation of Mississippi. Apply today, totalms.com. Come join the home team and get in the driver's seat of your future. Powered by Total Transportation of Mississippi. I did not see this. So you knew about this Charles Barkley thing?
Yeah, I read it.
I had heard it a couple years ago, but I didn't do any kind of deep dive on it. Here's what's different about Charles Barkley. He's one of the most famous people in America.
Yes.
And totally approachable. You have heard story after story of Charles Barkley being at a bar, in a restaurant. And he is open. I think he just realizes how blessed he is, to be great at basketball. I think you can make a strong argument. Top 10, top 15 player of the world, but definitely top 15, top 20 in the history of basketball. And again, he was like so many, he was overshadowed because of MJ. But Barkley, the fact that he's approachable to be that famous and doesn't take himself that seriously.
Right.
You hear time and time again in Atlanta, at Auburn, and all the other spots in the country that they travel, whether it's through his job or just through celebrity golf tournaments that he plays in, where people come up to him and he'll engage and have a conversation. And he's in the 1%. And then you have people that will not let you, approach them whatsoever, that aren't even close to, they may be famous and popular, however you want to frame it up, but not in the 1%. And they don't let you. Now, you don't want to impede on, like, if they're at a table.
Right.
It's different than being at the bar, being on a golf course, being in a hotel lobby.
Way different.
There's places to approach these people, as some of you know and some of you don't.
Ugh.
But like if they're at a table dining in a restaurant, he's with 4 people, you stay away.
Yeah.
But if he's at a restaurant, and Barkley loves premium boutique tequila, for example, and he's there and he's chewing the fat with the bartender, you kind of do a soft approach.
Yeah.
He has done it a million times. He'll visit with you.
Yes.
He loves talking Auburn, loves talking hoops, loves talking golf. And this is crazy. This story, Charles Barkley's closest friend for the last years of his life was a cat litter scientist from Iowa. Not a joke.
Correct.
Not a bit. And almost no one knew until after the man died.
That's correct.
In 2014, Charles Barkley is sitting alone at a hotel bar in Sacramento. The bar is empty except for one other person, and that person is Lin Wang, a Chinese immigrant on a business trip. He's the director of research and development at a pet products company in Iowa. He's roughly 5'6".
Yeah.
So obviously very imposing. Basketball fan. Lin walks up to the 6'6" Hall of Famer to say hello and ask for a photo. That's the whole meet, a photo request. Except they start talking, and they don't stop. And the conversation turns into a 2-hour dinner. And then they go back to the bar and talk for another couple hours. They exchange numbers. Barkley is known to do this. He is known to give people like you and I his number left and right. For the next 4 years, they were actually friends. Not celebrity friends, real ones.
Yes.
They met up when they were in the same city, watched games together. Barkley brought him onto the set of Inside the NBA. Y'all have seen those clips where this cat litter chemist from Iowa is just hanging out with Shaq and Kenny and Ernie and some dude named Charles Barkley, the round mound to rebound.
Those guys.
Lynn's coworkers didn't believe him. They thought he was making it up. And they teased him about his imaginary friend, Charles Barkley. His own daughter didn't fully believe it either. When she finally asked her dad about it, he showed her his text thread from Barkley, and she noticed the conversation looked pretty one-sided. Then in 2015, Barkley's mother died in Leeds, Alabama.
Right.
And Lin Wang flew from Iowa to Alabama for the funeral of a woman he had never met to stand with his friend. And Barkley's family had no idea who he was. And Charles Barkley remembers, and I quote, "Who's the Asian dude over there?" And his answer was, "That's my boy Lin." Then a year later, Lin was diagnosed with cancer, tumors in his heart, and he died in June of 2018 at 51 years old. His funeral was in Iowa the day after the NBA Finals ended. And Barkley was working the finals in Cleveland. He got on a plane anyway. And his daughter, Shirley, Lynn's daughter, was standing in the room when her friend's face changed. She turned around, standing there soaked in sweat from the Iowa summer, towering over everyone in the room was Charles Barkley. Nobody had told them he was coming, so he gave the eulogy. His words about a man he met by accident at an empty hotel bar, and I quote Barkley, "He was a selfless man. He really cared about other people." And Lynn had explained his side of it to his daughter, too. He admired that Barkley came from a hard childhood and earned respect through his hard work. As an immigrant, he took it as proof of something, I quote, "As long as I do a good job, people will respect me." So that's a pretty cool story.
Really, it's cool.
And that's from, I just read this from the Sports on Tap.
Yeah.
So those were the quotes.
It's pretty sweet.
Charles Barkley played at Auburn, and as y'all know, for the 76ers and Rockets and maybe someone else. But
makes me wonder.
And he was also on the 92 Barcelona Olympic team with Jordan, Magic, Bird, Ewing, Stockton, Malone, and all those guys.
Lost to a bunch of college boys.
Well,
and then wore them out the next day.
But, right.
Yeah, that's all right.
Right.
So the legend has it, at least.
The legend has it, according to the late Chuck Daly, who won 2 world championships with the Detroit Pistons, was that one day prior to going to Barcelona, they locked the doors in the gym. They weren't in somewhere fancy.
No.
I don't remember where they were training. They trained in Portland, but maybe in Mexico too. I can't remember why they would have been there. But anyway, they were somewhere, and they locked the doors, and they went the best 5 against the best 5. And Chuck Daly would say for years, it was absolutely, without a doubt, the best basketball game I've ever watched or witnessed in my life.
That was the Stars.
That's right.
Then they had the college one.
And evidently Barkley and Jordan got after it. And people claim during that time that Barkley was within a whisker of Jordan as a player in 1992. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. And good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show, ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're brought to you by Superior Foundation for all your foundation repairs, superior.ms. Call Todd Sanders, Trey Pace today. Superior.ms. Superior.ms for French drains, foundation repairs, and, of course, driveways and parking lots, all powered by Superior, superior.ms. And the show is also brought to you by MS Smart Homes. Get your house, man cave, condo ready for game day, powered by mssmarthomes.com. The Sonos surround sound system is fantastic to watch football games, powered by mssmarthomes.com. mssmarthomes.com. Bo Bound Straight Funk. Straight Funk's going to be doing the tease of the week. This is going to be incredible. The Straight Funk tease of the week for the 2026 season. And here we go. Bam. All right, we are the Out of Bounds Show, brought to you by the Golden Moon Casino Vegas-style sportsbook and Championship Golf on the property of Pearl River Resort, Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Book your stay and play, y'all. DancingRabbitGolf.com. You can do the Vegas-style sportsbook. You can do Championship Golf. It's been named top 100 golf courses in the country multiple times. And then Philip M. Steakhouse is recognized by Wine Spectator, all at Pearl River Resort, pearlriverresort.com. We're excited to welcome in our next guest, Kelly Stewart, Splash Sports. You know her as Kelly in Vegas. She joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Football season is here. And Kelly is hosting a $200,000 college football survivor contest on Splash Sports. Kelly, good morning. How are you doing?
Hey, good morning. It's been a crazy one already. I've been fighting with AI, trying to build a college football model because I got to get up with the times. Like this handwritten thing that used to take me 20 or 30 hours a week can be done so much faster, except for I've got to get the computer to be as smart as I am.
You're gonna love that for sure. So tell me this: you've got Kansas State behind you. All right. So are you a K-State alum?
I am a K-State alum. Yes.
Were you? Now you look really young. Were you there when Bill Snyder was there, or did you miss that time where y'all were winning big?
Well, I appreciate the compliment, but no, Bill Snyder absolutely ruined my childhood and subsequently my fandom for the rest of my life. I actually moved to Manhattan, Kansas in '93 when K-State football got to go to their second bowl game, but the first of my lifetime. And the expectations couldn't be higher, always. Thank you, Bill, for making sure that 9 wins is the floor.
That guy was incredible. I mean, he went to arguably the worst football program in America. And then all y'all did was win for like 15 years or maybe a little bit more. And
it's actually crazy. He does not get as much credit that he should. I know what we just saw Coach Signetti do last year and last couple of years there at Indiana has been nothing short of incredible as well. But I do think we laugh about some of these teams playing cupcakes. And that's what Bill did in the 90s. That's all they did is play cupcakes those first few games, work out the kinks, figure out who your starters were, and get you ready for, at the time, Big 8 play, and then, of course, Big 12 later on.
Hall of Famer, great coach. I'm trying to think, who's your favorite player from that time, from K-State?
Oh, Jared Cooper, hands down. We just had this conversation the other day, me and some other K-State fans. He was a strong safety in the late 90s, early 2000s, madman. He was always all over the field. He was always the guy getting the crowd hyped. He was just a bulldozer. He went on to win a Super Bowl, actually, with the Carolina Panthers.
Nice. Okay. Kelly in Vegas on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 1059 The Zone, Splash Sports. And football season is here. Good time to have Kelly on. She went to SEC Media Days. You were at SEC Media Days? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lane, we've got Ole Miss and Mississippi State here, and our border schools, Kelly, are LSU and Bama. You can be in Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge in 2.5 hours. And so now Lane jumps ship and goes to Baton Rouge. What, in your opinion, how did Lane do at SEC Media Days, considering he's a media hound and anything he says, we all freak out?
And that's what I wanted. I told, I was there with my best friend Ariel. There was a couple of things in the works that we already had prior commitments when we decided, hey, we should also just cruise up the road to Tampa and go to SEC Media Days. And I told her, I said, we have to be there for Lane. And whoever did the scheduling did a great job, because they said, all right, you want everybody to stay all week, you got to make Lane on Thursday. And so there I am, like waiting. Come on, Lane, let's hear it. And he was on a very short leash. I think someone has not only basically said, stay off social media, but you better be on your best behavior. So from that standpoint, I was a little disappointed. But of course, per usual, Lane said all the right things, right? He's got his team ready. The expectations could not be higher there in Baton Rouge. And I think that's a detriment, unfortunately, for certain teams, right? I mentioned Bill Snyder earlier and what my expectations are. My expectations as a Kansas State fan are never national championships. If you're an LSU fan, it is national championship or bust.
No doubt. Kelly Stewart on the Out of Bounds show, Splash Sports. Okay, let's talk about this. You're hosting a $200,000 college football survivor contest on Splash Sports. Walk me through it, Kelly.
Yeah, this is our third year doing it. This was something different. I lived in Vegas for a very long time. NFL Survivor contest started to get really big out there. I think we've all probably played in them with our buddies back in the day, whether it was Office Football Pool or one of those sites. Well, the Splash guys bought all of those sites up and said, hey, we're going to put everything in one spot. I don't know if you've ever forgotten to put in a pick. It is the most excruciatingly painful thing you could ever do to yourself, especially when you're later on into the season. But now with everything in one spot, it sends you an email and says, hey, you are missing an entry, so get on it. But I think we did 50,000 the first year, 100,000 last year. This year, Splash and I are guaranteeing $200,000. But we made it a little bit harder because the past 2 seasons we had people tie, and I don't want ties. I want someone to get to take home that whole prize. So we're doing Big 12, Big 10, and SEC. We had to kick out the ACC because they're not any good anyway. Yeah. I digress on that note. But you're picking 2 teams per week.
Okay.
It gets a little spicy there. Week 6 looks a little tough. Week 12 is always a little tough. So keep in mind there as you're mapping out your season. And that's the other thing about Splash. You can map out your entire season ahead of time.
Okay.
Go through on the app or the website and you can map out the entire season. $100 to enter. You can have up to 66 entries, which is great. So if you want to have multiple entries and map out different strategies, I think that's the way to go. I'll probably have 5 or 6 myself, depending on how full this gets. We got 4 weeks ish. Yeah. A little bit till college football season starts September 5th. So exactly actually a month from today is when this contest is going to close.
All right, this is cool. Kelly Stewart on the show, Splash Sports. They've got the app she just mentioned. I think that's the easy way to do this. And of course, she's hosting a $200,000 college football survivor contest on Splash Sports. They've been doing it. They've upped it 50, 100, now 200K. She doesn't want anybody to tie. She wants somebody to go home with the 200. All right. And that way you can have a big time over Christmas holidays and the new year. Also, you've got the biggest NFL survivor contest ever on Splash Sports in the app.
These guys are crazy.
Yeah.
These guys are crazy. I know the owners of Splash. I've been with them. This will be my 4th football season with these guys. And when we first met, we met through my agent and said, hey, you got to meet these guys. They got a really interesting concept here. And I'm thinking, okay, but it's never going to match up to Vegas. Well, guess what? Here we are. This is now the largest one in the country and probably the world. $21 million guaranteed. So even if the contest does not fill up, they're putting up the money. And what they've really started to figure out is that instead of having to fly to Vegas, get a hotel room, hire a proxy, do all these other things, that there are people in other states that just don't have that ability. So 35 states right now, they are legal in. You can also, a new thing that they're having for this contest and others is you can split your entry with your buddies. So
nice.
They're doing a new marketplace they just launched today. I don't have all of the details fully on that, but head over to splashsports.com. You guys can check that out. So, I got a buddy in DC who wants to do one of these entries with me. Perfect. I go and I pay my half. He goes in and pays his half. And now we are each joint owners. So, kind of one of those things in Vegas. Vegas, when I had a proxy service, people are like, how do I split this with my buddy? I'm like, you better have a good lawyer and they better write you up some airtight stuff because only one person is allowed to own the entry. And when you're going in for $1,000 and you make it in late, you're going to want to be able to profit off that, whether it's hedging at a sports book or nice new thing about Splash, they have a marketplace. So you will actually be able to sell your entry to possible prospective buyers.
How about that? Kelly Stewart, splashsports.com and the Splash Sports app. Joining us on the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by award-winning Dancing Rabbit Golf Club. Okay, Kelly, how did you get into the business?
This question's always so funny to me because I think I've always been a gambler my entire life. And again, you complimented me at the beginning, but I graduated college in 2007. So I did not have a job really readily available. There's a couple internships that I had gotten and I thought, oh my God, how am I going to get a job? All my friends are getting fired right before the 2008 recession. Yeah. And I told my dad, I was like, hey, I think I'm going to move to Vegas. A couple of my girlfriends are moving out there. And he's like, okay, go ahead. And the gambling just really took off from there. I had some buddies that were always really impressed with my sports knowledge, at least as far as the Big 12 goes and Kansas State. And they said, well, why don't you try to apply this to gambling? You're living out in Vegas at the time. Vegas is the only place you could bet on sports. And it really started to blossom from there. I hit a 85-1 parlay in 2013.
What?
And yeah, my phone started ringing off the hook. And how'd you do this? Did your dad help you? Did your boyfriend help you? And I was like, no, I've been watching these teams and these were some really, like, basically I'm looking for underdogs every single week that I think can win outright. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-point underdogs. And I like to just parlay them together for a little cherry on top, right? I'm betting them against the spread. I'm betting them on the money line, but that parlay is just an extra fun if I happen to go 3-0. And it really blossomed my career into being able to do tons of media things and stuff like that. And here we are 13 years later. It's crazy that I get to do this for a living and, it's not hard work, especially if I can get my good friend Claude to help me out on some of the modeling.
You damn right. We're on Claude all the time. Kelly Stewart, splashsports.com. They are ready for college football and the NFL. She joins us on ESPN 105.9 The Zone. What an incredible story. You hit a parlay 85-1. The phone starts ringing, and no pun intended, she parlays it into a hell of a career. Are you still in Vegas, or did you move out?
So I did move to Florida.
Okay.
2020 was kind of rough out there for me. And I said, you know what? And actually, it's funny. Mississippi was one of the states on my list because I was like, all right, who's getting sports gambling next? Where can I go?
Right.
And at the time, you guys were talking about getting rid of state taxes. So I was like, all right, we got Tennessee, we got South Dakota, we got Mississippi, we got Florida. And my family and I decided, hey, you know what? Florida is it. So we are down here just south of Tampa, loving life.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Kansas State, do you have an adopted... You're a K-State alum. Do you have an adopted SEC team?
So my
Are
dad
you a Gator?
lives right outside of Gainesville. And so I got him a little piece of land out there. We've been to several Gators games. I just can't do it. I can't be a Florida Gators fan. I tried. I thought, all right, this is going to be a fun team. Last year, I thought they were going to be better than they were. I had USF plus the points. They were never supposed to lose that game. And I go, I can't do it. I don't want to be a fan of any team. I want to be able to bet on and bet against. I will say, however, when K-State played in Starkville, what was that? Ooh, over a decade ago, we went down there, had a great time. Ole Miss, going to Oxford is on my bucket list, as well as Baton Rouge. But otherwise, I've been to almost every other SEC team, at least the ones in Texas, because they used to be in the Big 12. So
Yeah.
As long as one of them is not it, even though I did bet Oklahoma to win the SEC this year, as long as one of them isn't a team on my fan list, we'll call it good.
Okay, so you went to the Mississippi State K-State game. I think it was 2019, roughly.
No, it was before that. When was it? Because you guys played in Manhattan.
Yeah, my producer went. Yeah, he went up to Manhattan for the game.
Yeah, and it was
And
in
then-
Starkville. I want to say when Dak was the quarterback, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I'm glad you went. You had a good time?
Yeah, great college town. I love going to different college towns and experiencing it. Somehow still in my soul, I am in college. So it just
Me
is
too.
one of those fun things to go experience. Like I said, I've heard great things about Oxford. I've heard
Oh, yeah.
great things about other places. I've been to Athens. I thought Athens was a
Great
cool
place.
town.
Yeah.
I thought it was a cool town. Gainesville, I don't love, like I mentioned. I don't know why. I feel like there's just a lot going on over there in this like weird area, but they have a great stadium. Highly recommend going to see a game there as well.
Have you been to Auburn?
So I haven't been to Auburn. If you do remember, Auburn did go to Manhattan, Kansas.
Okay.
I want to say 2014 sounds about right. 7.5-point favorites. K-State misses like 3 field goals. Tyler Lockett drops 2 passes in the end zone. It was awful. The SEC chants still haunt me today. But I think Auburn must have gotten rid of whoever their coach was at the time. I think it was before Malzahn.
Okay.
And if I remember correctly, and then he canceled the game that would have been in Auburn.
Okay. All right. Kelly Stewart, splashsports.com on the Out of Bounds show. She's now in SEC country. I mean, South Florida, yeah. And I mean, hell, SEC Media Days was in Tampa. And of course, we've got Florida and Gainesville. So Darren Sproles played at K-State, right?
He did.
And Michael Bishop.
Yes.
You mentioned Lockhart. Okay.
Yeah.
Sproles is one of my favorite players ever.
How can he not be?
I know. I mean, what? Saints, Eagles, there may be another team. Chargers. Yes. Yes. Man, I loved watching that guy play. I did not realize Tyler Lockett, who all he did was catch deep balls for the Seattle Seahawks. I didn't realize he played at
his dad and uncle both played at K-State as well. And he's got a little brother on the team right now.
Are you serious? That is
and
cool.
There's two more Lockets that I'm like, please, can we get another, just one of the twins to be just another version of Tyler. Tyler was great. I didn't mean to bash him on the drop balls versus Auburn. They weren't probably exactly the best passes, but
right.
you get the idea. It was one of those games where you had it by, your fingertips and it slips away.
Okay. All right. Kelly in Vegas, Kelly Stewart, splashsports.com. You need to download the app. Okay. Get in. I mean, look, she's right. People get into these survivor contests. They're teeing you up for both college football and the NFL. Get your mind right. Get on Claude or wherever chat and get rolling and get ready for the year. Okay. Did I miss anything? Did we cover everything that we needed to hit, Kelly in Vegas?
I think so. Splashsports.com/Kelly in Vegas. If you guys go to sign up.
Okay.
Appreciate you, Bo.
Hey, thank you, Kelly. Have a great year. Okay.
Thank you. You too.
Bye. Kelly in Vegas, Kelly Stewart. She's done a great job. Splashsports.com. And download the Splash Sports app. Jump in the college football survivor contest, $200K if you win it. And it's $100 per entry. And then they've got the biggest NFL survivor contest on Splash.
Yeah, I'll probably win that.
Right. There's no question you will. Double down. A record $21 million in guaranteed prizes.
Don't change.
That was good.
Yeah, man. I can't believe. Well, I can't believe it. Michael Beasley graduated in 2008, so they were right beside each other. I thought you might ask her about Michael Beasley.
I couldn't pull it. Sproles and Bishop.
Yeah. And then Tex Winter.
Oh my God.
That was K-State.
Tex Winter.
The triangle offense.
With Phil Jackson?
Yes. Big Ted.
That guy went to K-State.
Born in 1922.
Good Lord. So he was up there by the time he paired up with Phil Jackson at the Bulls.
Whoa, he was there for a long time.
What was he there from, like 88 to 98?
Assistant from 47 to 51, and then he was the head coach at 53 to 68.
You're talking about K-State?
Yes.
I was talking about all right, so how long was he with the Bulls with
85 to 99.
Okay.
15 years, good Lord.
And then did he join Phil with the Lakers,
99.
Kobe and Shaq?
That's correct. And then went three-peat.
All right.
And then I imagine he was out. Yeah, he's out.
Yeah.
He left in 04.
What an unfreaking believable career.
It's wild.
Tex Winter, the triangle offense, the Zen stuff. He and Phil Jackson were the perfect Batman and Robin, just like MJ and Scottie Pippen. And
his name's Tex.
And his name's Tech. He sounds like he should be a football coach.
Yes.
But yet he was brilliant on the basketball side.
He was about to be. He was going to be a Navy man.
Back then, hell yeah, you were. It was mandatory.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
At that age.
And then he ended up playing ball at USC.
At Southern Cal?
Yep.
But he went to K-State?
He went to K-State as an assistant coach right after he graduated from USC.
Oh, so he's a Southern Cal guy.
Yeah. But K-State claims him. He was only at Southern Cal. He graduated Southern Cal. He was there for a year.
Interesting.
I'd claim him as K-State for sure.
Heck yeah.
He was a pole vaulter.
Nice.
And then pole vaulted his way.
The guy that I met in Kentucky that I told you about, the couple that hung out with us that knows the Taste crew real well, he's been a long time coach. I told you that. Now he's in administration. Successful football coach up there. And now admin. He still coaches pole vault in the spring.
I bet.
And he loves it.
Yeah.
He's like, I can't let it. And then they just brought him in as like, he had not coached in a while. And they brought him in as like associate head coach.
Nice.
This year.
Of course.
He's like, I did, but I didn't. And now I'm in it. And I'm like, yeah, but once it's here, you'll love it. He said, no doubt. You love being around the kids. But
wow.
Anyway, we got into a conversation. He and I were on one end of the table during one of the long dinners that we had big dinners every night, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Sure.
Well, at Jack Fry's in Louisville, Kentucky on Saturday night, he and I were on that end of the table, and he said something that was very reminiscent of kind of what Mike Leach said to me years ago. And now he's from the admin side. And I was talking about going for it all the time and all that. And he said, well, what I don't understand is, if you're on the plus side of the 50 and it's doable, why not? But he said, why wouldn't you punt and let 10th graders or 16-year-olds make mistakes at trying to go 80 or 90 yards? And I thought, damn, you just simplified that. But for somebody that's been as successful as you have, you just nailed it. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. The show is brought to you by the Gumbo, the Wings, and the Fried Shrimp Po' Boy at Martin's in Livingston. They just expanded, and it looks amazing. Check it out this week.